Hello, friends, and welcome to Brainworms, the podcast that we do to supplement our mediocre OnlyFans. I'm Joe.
I'm Kaine.
And I'm Chris.
David's not here today. He's on vacation.
Not David? What did you do to him? Where is he? Where did you put him?
I didn't do shit.
Pay no mind to the muffled screams you might occasionally hear coming from the closet.
Shut up! Nothing, that was just my cat.
It's fine. Everything is fine. And we're going to dig into the early days of creepypasta today.
Can I state something real quick?
If you want, yeah.
I've actually spent a decent amount of time combing through good creepypasta.
Yeah.
And some of it's really fucking good, and I really enjoy it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what fucking rock you turned over scraped the feces away. And I haven't read very far. I've just read basically it's like 2 words in.
Uh-huh.
And it's supposed to be a newspaper headline.
Sure.
And it's fucking stupid, Joe.
Yeah, this is one of the early like the first influential ones, like back in the days of Slender Man.
And real quick, before we go into specifics, I just want to make a general note that I think it's really cool that, with the internet, you just throw out this network of communication, and like these fantastic writers will just pop up. And not just writers, but artists and everything.
Yeah.
And
The
they're
internet's really cool in that way.
Yeah, except we just use it for porn and that's about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing wrong with that.
And doing shit like this.
Yeah, and podcasting.
Yeah. But yeah, there's something to be said for this idea of creepypasta specifically as kind of a new generation of campfire stories in a lot of ways. Just like these tales that get passed around. And yeah, Jeff the Killer is one of the OG spooky spaghettis. Written by creator Saussure back in 2005. It's about a killer named Jeff. I don't know.
I mean, I guess we should just dive right in, huh?
We should, but before we dive in, I should remind the listeners that if you like what we do, you can go to WeGiveYouBrainworms.com and find our other things that we do, and you can give us some money to talk about more spooky spaghettis.
All 50 of you out there.
I just like saying spooky spaghetti. I'm really hung up on it.
Yeah, we can tell.
And shit, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you're welcome. I did that to you.
You did. You threw me right off my wagon. And we also have a Discord server that you can get into.
Yep.
Oh, God. I'm already a part of too many Discord servers. Like, stop this madness.
I mean, if you'd like, we could kick you out of the Brainworms Presents Discord and you can go fuck yourself. If that's what you'd like to do.
But you're on the show, so you being in the server increases the chances that a listener will wander in and get to talk to a real-life brainworm.
Yeah, the problem with that is that so far, I mean, I don't get analytics. Like, I don't have a report that shows me the people that are just hanging out, and the neither of you have been in the Discord.
I'm in the Discord right now.
And speaking of analytics, to our listeners out there, if you're like leaving to go do something productive, and you just want to throw on our podcast and just let it run in
don't do that. Don't do that. No, if you don't actually want to listen to us, don't listen to us. Don't get our hopes up.
No. We need all the help we can get. We're up the river without a paddle.
No. Jeff the Killer. By unknown author. Excerpt from a local newspaper.
And real quick, is this entire Jeff the Killer thing based on that really stupid picture of like the high contrast bleached out face?
It's kind of mysterious which came first, the short story or the Photoshop. The two are intimately connected in some kind of way, but no one's really sure which came first.
Ominous unknown killer is still at large. That's an excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large.
Because that's how newspaper headlines are written.
Couldn't they just say anonymous killer still at large?
No. Because,
tune into Channel 4?
Fuck you. Why would they tell you to tune into a channel in a newspaper?
I don't know. I'm swinging at things here, okay?
Okay.
I'm just slinging shit.
Joe, don't question our blind hatred.
Would you say that you're flinging spooky spaghetti?
Like I'm just throwing feces and hoping that bunnies appear. After weeks of unexplained murders, The ominous unknown killer is still on the rise.
Whoa.
After little
Wait.
evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and bravely tells his story.
Okay.
I had a bad dream, and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, even though I remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more.
Guys, I think
Afterwards,
Jeff opened
I
it.
simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling,
Covers are not knife proof.
No.
like someone was watching me. I
Do you know
looked
that
up
from experience, Chris?
and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light, escaping from between my curtains, were a pair of 2 eyes.
A pair of 2 eyes? Is that what it says?
There weren't regular eyes. They were dark, ominous eyes.
Okay, so wait. Okay,
They were
so
bordered in black
No,
and
hang on.
Just plain terrified me.
So
That's when I
At
saw
night.
his mouth.
at night,
A
coming
long,
through-
horrendous smile
Can
that
you hear
made
me?
every hair on my body stand up.
So
The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what seemed like forever, he said it, a simple phrase, but said in a way only a madman could speak.
Are you going to pause now?
Yes, I'm going to fucking pause now. Go ahead, Chris.
So the light coming through at night illuminates 4 eyes.
Because it's a pair of 2 eyes, yeah.
Just the light at night. Okay, just
Maybe it's moonlight? I don't know.
if the writer said moonlight, that would add that would help me and be able to envision what they're trying to illustrate.
Yeah.
It does not do that. Or
No.
or even like the orange street light from outside.
Sure.
Something like that, something to cast a mood.
No, it's just light.
The stars at night are big and bright,
I'm still hung up on a
deep
pair of 2
in the
eyes.
heart of Texas.
A pair of 2 a pair of 2 hands then picked me up.
Like, that's something that just if your friend had read this for you before you published it, they would have been like, hey, man, you don't really need to say a pair of 2
Aha.
eyes.
See, that's where you're way off base here. The implication is that the individual that wrote this had friends.
Or that their friends were smarter than the writer. Like, what if their friends read it and they were just like, oh man, this is so spooky.
This is so spooky, man. You should fucking put this on the internet right the fuck now.
He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream.
Okay, and then I went to sleep.
That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back.
He's got a
I
knife.
kicked,
He's gonna
I
shoot me
punched,
in the heart.
I rolled around, trying to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife, and it went into my dad's shoulder. The
That's a
man
hell of a
probably
throw.
would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police.
What kind of bullshit serial killer is this? He could have gotten at least 1 kill before diving out the window.
I just love that. Go to sleep. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
A simple phrase, but said in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep."
What a shit killer. All right, that's fine.
If one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police, they drove into the parking lot and ran towards the door. The man turned and ran down the hallway. I heard a smash.
That's some response time. Jesus.
like
Yeah, for real.
glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out of it to see it vanish into the distance. I can tell you one thing, I'll never forget that face, those cold, evil eyes, and that psychotic smile. They'll never leave my mind.
Why didn't he just go back out the window he came in?
Also,
Police are
this
still on the
kid
look for this
is
man.
Remarkably well put together. At my current age, if I woke up and there was someone in my bedroom, I would be screaming, and if they left, I would be like in a corner.
Yeah.
All right, so just out of curiosity, I'm just asking,
Uh-huh.
so what circumstances of you waking up and finding someone in your bedroom would lead you not to scream?
If it were me.
If it was like a very attractive naked person, and they were like, no, even then, I would.
What if
Yeah.
it's not an attractive naked person? What if it's a bald, furry, a naked person?
Oh god, like a fursuit, but all the fur taken off of it?
That sounds very upsetting.
Yeah, it
like
does.
a naked, like one of those goblin cat fursuits. I don't like that.
See, you missed. See, when I said furry, I meant has a lot of body hair and just hair in general, but bald on their head. And because of the internet being terrible, you both immediately had some kind of Five Nights at Freddy fucking nightmare. And that's not what it was. I was trying to allude to me being bald and furry and me showing up into your bedroom naked, but all of that's gone now.
I'm still thinking about a naked cat fursuit, and I don't.
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
way more like Kaine. If you were in my room, I would be startled at first, but then I would just be like, "Well, why are you here? Do you need something?"
And then I would be like, "I don't know how I got here."
And then that's when I would be like, "All right, let's go
See where this goes.
Let's go
just
get a
make
glass
out.
of water.
Yeah.
We'll talk this through." But yeah, even if it was like my if I woke up and my dad or my brother or something was in my room, I would still like be startled. But yeah, moving on.
Police are still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department.
Quick interruption. If you Google naked cat fursuit, you just get furry porn.
You interrupted me for that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you turn on your stove, right, and put your hand on the burner, it will burn you.
Yeah.
Water is wet.
Joe, what you want to put in is hairless fursuit.
Okay.
It's upsetting.
Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work. And
Is
his
this still the newspaper? What's happening?
Yeah, I was just about
look,
to ask
man, it just says police are still on the look for this man. On the look.
On the
that. Yeah,
look.
but is this the narrator or the...
Dude, don't you think I'd tell you?
No, because you're a dick.
No, if it's, it's like excerpt from local newspaper, ominous unknown killer still at large. And then after the end of the police are still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Chapter 1. See, if that was there, I would have said that.
Because this feels like a POV shift, but there's nothing in the text.
This goes from, if you see anyone that fits the description of this story, please contact your local police department. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood.
What asshole wrote this?
Also, Kaine, I was literally going to say, just put a chapter 1, so I'm glad that you voiced that.
Right.
If it was there, I would have said it. But that's not what we do at Brainworms. We don't actually correct people's writing.
No. We reread it, warts and all.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I will continue. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be best to live in one of those fancy, in quotation, neighborhoods.
What?
So this wasn't this was like an obligatory upgrade. Well, I guess since you got a promotion, we should, get a different house.
All right.
Also, if it's one thing that the medical field knows about serial killers is that they are most likely to come from wealthy, well-established families.
Sometimes they do.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but it's not like it's not common, and like usually there's threads of child abuse and so on.
Sure.
Yeah, but child abuse doesn't just happen in poor people's houses.
Very true.
Yeah, but it's more common.
I would argue that religious zealots are more likely to create serial killers than poor people alone.
I'd be interested in, and you seem like the kind of weirdo that had like a serial killer phase in your youth.
Me?
You know this, yeah.
I had some dark days.
Well, not like, I'm not suggesting that you...
No, Kaine, he means that you were into the serial killer thing.
I was.
You
I
you
was.
checked it all out.
So maybe you have more insight into this than I do.
But I would say that if you look at the majority of romanticized serial killers, most of the time they're white men and they come from strict religious backgrounds.
Sure.
Like Ed Gein.
Well, I mean, Ed Kemper, Ed Gein, those are just two.
Is there any intersection between economic class and serial killing, Kaine, that you know about?
Not that I know about. I would have to dive in. And,
I'd be interested in
dig that up.
And listeners, if you have any serial killer knowledge, feel free to comment.
But just understand, I'm coming from a place of I am almost to a T anti-serial killer now.
I don't know that anyone is pro serial killer.
No, they are.
No, have you seen the game Hatred?
You don't sell movies and books and stuff like that about those subjects unless people weren't fascinated with it. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Yeah.
in the context of like this person is a monster and they're scary and that's interesting.
No,
But I don't think there's anybody out there who's like, fuck yeah, serial killers.
Do you know how many people
there are
tried
totally
to marry
people like that.
Richard Ramirez?
Oh yeah, and like I've heard about
The same goes for Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Same goes for Charles Manson.
Yeah, Manson had quite a few lovers in prison.
And the only reason why I brought up the whole poverty thing is I just remember reading at some point that poverty is a risk factor.
Sure.
And that was it.
You mean somebody read that to you, so you can't trust what they're saying.
Damn it. I almost got away with it that time. If it wasn't for you pesky clones.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeff and his brother, Lou. Yeah.
Like Lou Reed or like Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat?
Like Liu. Is it Liu?
Let's just do Liu Kang, because that would make me happier.
No, we're not
Do you
doing
just want to
anything that
imagine
makes
the
you
little
happy.
brother as
Nope.
tiny Liu Kang from Mortal Kombat?
Nope.
We can
Or
do
just
that.
giant Liu Kang.
That's fair.
Jeff and his brother, Lee, couldn't complain, though. A new, better house. What was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by. "Hello," she said. "I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you." "Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and to introduce my son." She turns around and calls her son over. "Billy, these are our new neighbors." Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard.
This is good writing. It's
"Well,
very
I'm
naturalistic.
Margaret," said Jeff's mom. "And this is my husband, Peter, and my two sons, Jeff and Lee. They each
This is how
introduced
humans
themselves,
speak, yes?
and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mom.
This makes me want to write like a short story where two different alien species send infiltrators to our planet to observe us, and they both just happen to move next door to each other. So they're observing the other alien species and going like, "Oh, these humans, they're just like the Zolknoids. You know, we need to annihilate them immediately." And
And it's just a dumb comedy of errors as they try to
yeah,
convince each other that they're human with their incomplete understanding of...
yeah.
Yeah, that could be funny.
Jeff went up to his mom. "Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid."
What?
That would
Jeff.
be a lot more meaningful if we knew how old Jeff and
Said
Liu
his mother.
were.
"We just moved here. We should show that we want to spend time with our neighbors. Now we're going to that party, and that's final." Jeff started to talk, but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. It seems like whenever his mom said something, it was final. He walked up to his mom and plopped down on his bed. He walked up to
What?
his room and plopped
that
down
makes
on
more
his
sense.
bed. He sat there looking at his ceiling when suddenly he got a weird feeling. Is it gonna be a boner, guys? Huh? You
Or
think
there's, there's natural gas leaking into the house.
Yep. Not so much a pain,
Radon.
but
Yeah.
a weird feeling.
What does that mean, Book?
Are we guessing what that feeling is yet?
I'm guessing gas leak. He's experiencing the intense euphoria.
Okay, Chris?
I think I know what this is. I think that this is like a 14-year-old that just got out of watching The Dark Knight, and they're like, "I understand the Joker. I'm gonna make my own Psycho."
He dismissed it as just some random feeling.
That's
He
what I
heard
do with
his
my emotions most
Mother
of the time.
calling him down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it.
All right, good. So we got a weird feeling.
Yeah, I'm going to be reading this as an angry 14-year-old for the rest
Please
of the
do.
podcast, just so you know.
Oh my God.
The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast and got ready for school. As he sat there eating his breakfast, he once again got that feeling. This time it was stronger.
You can't just tell your audience this character felt away.
It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it.
Maybe it is a boner.
You know,
As he and
I had
Lee
a slight
finished
tugging
breakfast-
pain once, and then I burped and it went away.
They walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus. And then, all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their
Whoa.
laps.
Cool skateboard trick, dude.
They both jumped back in surprise. "Hey, what the hell?" The kid landed and turned back to them. He kicked his skateboard up and caught it with his hands.
Radical.
The kid
Kaine,
seemed to be
this
about
is-
12,
This is
1 year
wildly
younger
better
than Jeff.
now that you're reading it like this.
He wears an Aeropostale shirt
Oh
and
no,
ripped
he's
blue jeans.
they're preppy kids. That means they're automatically the enemy.
Well, well, well. Looks like we got some new meat.
Because that's
Suddenly,
how children talk.
2 other kids appeared. One
This
was
is how
super
pornos
skinny,
start.
and the other was huge. Whoa. The other was huge. Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith. Jeff and Lee looked over at the skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have.
What does that mean?
And he's Troy. They looked back over to the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling.
What?
And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now for all the kids in this
I've never
neighborhood.
met anyone under the age of 30 named Randy.
Now, for all the kids in this neighborhood, there's a small price for bus fare. If you catch my drift.
If you don't, I'm gonna Ollie McTwist off of your wieners.
I can't figure out, and maybe the two of you can, if this is an adult trying to write how children would talk, or if this is an actual 16-year-old.
What's the difference?
I'm going to stop you right there. Because
Okay.
I don't give a shit.
Because the adult trying to write this way, if they're failing this bad, they probably have the mind of a 16-year-old, so tomato.
That's fair enough.
Regardless, Lee stood up, ready to punch the lights out of this kid's eyes when one of his friends pulled a knife on him.
Why do these
Tisk,
children have
tisk,
knives? You're
I'd
fucking
hoped you
12.
would be more cooperative. But it seems we must do this the hard way.
He's gonna get stabbed and shanked like in prison.
The kid walked up to Lee and took his wallet out of his pocket.
Whoa.
Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong. A burning sensation. He stood up, but Lee gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked up to the kid.
I'm gonna suck your dick.
Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife.
Why do these kids have knives?
Oh, what will you do? Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it.
The hell you say?
Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming.
See,
Troy
the thing that
rushed
we
him
don't
too.
know about Jeff is that he actually goes to bars when his mother drinks because his father is not good in the bedroom. When Jeff goes to the bars, he plays those like test your lover skills, those things, and he just does that. And he puts all his anger and frustration into it. So he has a grip like a iron vice, and that's how he broke the kid's wrist.
I'm glad that we went on that little journey with you, Chris. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach. Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Lee could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Jeff, how'd you? That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing, so they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lee made it to school, they didn't dare tell what happened. All they
stabbed the
did
bus
was
driver
sit
in the dick.
and listen. Lee just thought of that as his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more. It was sexy. I'm just kidding. It doesn't say it. It was something scary.
If they had said sexy, that would have actually been more illustrative of what was happening in Jeff's mind. So that you added that as a joke, but that would have been better to me.
It was something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was. The urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school.
You have a dance with the devil in the pale moonlight.
Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop, how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find 2 police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look.
Yeah, so your kid stabbed a few other kids.
Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting, that they were stabbed. Stabbed, son.
Yeah,
Jeff's
yeah.
gaze fell to the
The
floor.
one guy ambushed the 3 kids. You know, he's obviously the aggressor.
Yeah.
Jeff's gaze fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. Mom, they were the ones that pulled knives on me and Lee. Son, said one of the cops, we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his tummy. We have witnesses
What
proving
fucking
that you
cop
fled
says
the scene.
tummy?
He didn't. I changed it.
Okay.
Thank you, Kaine. Thank you. I'm not being sarcastic. These little differences you're doing, it's making a difference for me.
And we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lee had been attacked, but then there was no proof it was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing because, truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lee.
So is the writer trying to make Jeff sympathetic?
I guess.
Because, like, the way that this is being constructed is like, you know, like he's a victim of the system.
Well, I mean, that, but, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if this is just how fucking cops in this town do business. Just like, whatever. Sure, we're not going to investigate this at all. But also, I think they're trying to give Jeff his first taste of violence. That's kind of justifiable, but he liked it. It awokened his violence boners. And that's how, you know, he becomes the Joker.
Jeff knew it was no use. Oh, because truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lee. Son, call down your brother. Jeff couldn't do it since it was him who beat up all the kids. Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lee tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me. The cop looked at his partner, and they both nod. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie. Wait!
Is this the Judge Dredd timeline? Can cops just hand out sentencing off the cuff in this universe?
Wait, says Lee. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lee. It was me. I beat up those little punks. Have the marks to prove it.
What's happening?
He's coming right for us!
He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises as if he was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer as donut crumbles fell off of his mouth. He didn't actually write that part either. I added that in.
Yeah.
Lee held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops. No, Lee, it was me. I did it. Jeff had tears running down his face. Huh, poor bro, trying to take the blame for what I did. Well, take me away. The police led Lee out to the patrol car.
This is very stupid.
Tell
Yeah,
them
how
it was
long
me.
till Lee dies?
Tell them I was the one who beat up those kids. Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders. Jeff, please, you don't have to lie. We know it's Lee. You can stop. Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off with Lee inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong. Son, what is it? Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into the house. He decided he was going to stop being a giant pussy.
Thank you, Kaine. I needed that.
Yeah, it's also not in the...
No,
Jeff walked
no.
back into the house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed because he was their son. I added that part in too.
Kaine, you don't need to just say that, because anytime something clever is said, I know it's not the writer.
He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lee when it was his fault. He just went to sleep. Get it? You know, like from the beginning of the book? Go
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sleep. He just went to sleep trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by with no word from Lee at JDC. This is definitely a kid writing this.
Imagine if Lee comes back from juvie and he's like a hardened badass now.
That's how I know this was a kid that wrote that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, because the JDC, like the Juvenile Detention Center,
Mhm.
is not like
Adult jail.
it's not like the prison that kids can go to.
Mhm.
You don't, like, DYS is a facility that's basically hardened prison for kids,
Mhm.
and it's fucking horrific.
Sure.
JDC is summer camp. Yeah.
Is JDC like the place they send you first to try and like get you out of that phase?
Yep.
Gotcha.
No word from Lee at JDC. No friends to hang out with. Nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday. But Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy, sunshiny face. Jeff, it's the day, she said as she
You
opened
notice
up
this
the
book
curtains.
keeps like bouncing between past and present tense?
I don't care.
Okay. It's fine. Do you want to just stop this and
Yeah.
maybe come back next week?
Maybe. No, I don't want to come back on this next week. Can't we just say we've figured it out? We know what's going on and we don't have to go further into this?
It's a short story. It's not that much longer. I feel like we owe the listeners the complete package.
I don't think we do.
Look, they paid for the razor, so we got to give them the full edge.
What?
As
What?
in, like, this is a really edgy story.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I get it. It didn't make me laugh, but I get it.
So now, is there a way that we can just not do that, and then you can just record by yourself?
No.
Joe, I'll lend you the spoons that I have that have the faces of my friends on them.
Yeah.
For
No.
that.
We need your sultry tones to read it, and then Chris to shriek like an angry shitting parakeet.
Yeah, but do you really? Maybe you could get one of those text-to-speech apps, you
Uh-huh.
know, and you can just feed the remainder of Jeff the Killer into the text-to-speech app, and then I don't have to exist that day.
No one wants that.
Or Joe could make AIs of us. You know, like the ones like, oh no, I'm thinking of VTubers. Never mind.
All right, fine. All right, so here's what we'll do. Here's what
Yeah.
we'll do. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Right? I just need, for no reason, I just need DNA samples from you, Chris, and David.
Okay.
And if you give me those DNA samples, I'll agree to come back next week and do the rest of this fucking story.
Okay.
I can't think of a way that can go badly for us. Yeah, let's do that.
Excellent. All right, fine. Yeah, so next week we'll finish Jeff the Killer, which is going to be awesome. I'm excited about it now.
Yay. Yeah. Don't forget, if you're a YouTube listener, like, subscribe, click the bell, leave a comment. We might comment on your comment and have a conversation, assuming your comment is good and not stupid.
It probably won't be me, though. I don't comment.
That's fair. Is that just like a religious obligation? You just can't?
No. It gets confusing for me. Like, existing both in this corporeal body and existing as a consciousness in the internet.
Yeah.
Sometimes the comments play hell with me when I see them with my physical body,
Mhm.
and I acknowledge them with my internet brain. So
Okay.
it can be confusing for me at times.
Sure, that's fair.
Don't trust it. If you get a comment from Kaine on the YouTube, don't trust it. Don't interact with it. Just act like it didn't happen.
Some kind of ghost in the machine kind of shit?
Look, man, I'm just saying things get weird when your consciousness is separated from the whole for a long period of time, but then it's also always kind of connected to it. Let's just not talk about it.
Are you becoming the lawnmower man?
I mean, I'm not becoming the lawnmower man.
Fair enough. Don't forget to go to WeGiveYouBrainworms.com, where you can...
What?
.com. I
Okay.
said it correctly.
I was just checking.
You just put so much emphasis on the M that it doesn't matter how you say it.
I'll put emphasis on your M.
I don't know what that means, but I'm slightly aroused.
Nice. That's kind of the effect I have on people. But yeah, we have a Patreon there. You can support the show with your money. We also have links to our various other endeavors, and we have a Discord server where you can, get in there and we'll talk to you.
Yeah, I have a consciousness that's pretty much always there, even if you don't think it's there.
That's very upsetting. All right. Well, do we have anything else to say about Jeff the Killer?
I'm excited. Let's just call it, and then next week we'll get here faster.
Okay. We're very sorry for everything that we've put you through. Thank you for listening. All right, I'm going to push the button now.
This has been a production of Brainworms Presents. Any copyrighted content contained within is used for purposes of review. Brainworms Podcast is David Combs, Kaine Magdalen, Christian Schaefer, and Joseph Wells. The theme music is Hodgepod No. 1 by Brian Davis. If you like what you heard, you can support us and learn about our other projects at WeGiveYouBrainworms.com or by leaving a review on your favorite listening app.
Go to sleep.